Hey, thank you once again for joining me and listening to whatever it is I have to say. Today, I want to talk about something, as I usually do, of something that's been relevant for me in my life as well as for the lives of my clients. Um, and it's this idea of being able to hold and validate two opposing ideas or two opposing emotions at the exact same time. Um, and before I walk you through the process of what that actually looks like, I want to tell you why that's even important to do in the first place. Because those of us that try to stay in a positive state of mind while still processing some of our deeper, darker, more uncomfortable, elements that hide out in the shadow of our mind, it's usually one or the other. It's usually, okay, I'm going to focus on this negative thing and process this thing. Or it's like, okay, I've had enough of that. I'm going to switch over and I'm going to be positive and I'm going to think about all the good things and I'm going to focus on gratitude and all that shit. And both are totally valuable and necessary elements of growth. But what I've found is that you can actually streamline the process and allow both to exist inside of you at the exact same time. And the reason that's important is because something I've noticed for myself, for my clients, for my friends, is that when we focus on the negative, shadowy stuff, it's super duper easy to get lost in that realm and just kind of float around and begin to wallow, and that potentially leads to sluggishness, depression, anxiety, all kinds of stuff. And then we have to make the switch over to the positive to get ourselves over that. And that's just uncomfortable. And so something that I try to remind people to do is to stay with your vision while you take a look at the more uncomfortable things. And what that allows you to do is to move through the more negative stuff with a sense of purpose, and to remember why you're doing this. I'm not just feeling crappy for the sake of feeling crappy. I'm feeling crappy right now. I'm choosing to feel that way in service of a greater vision. And so you get to hold that vision while still validating this negative experience that you may be having inside yourself. An example of this may be, let's say you want to make a lot of money. And you're like, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to feel great about it. And I'm going to treat it like it's already happening, and I'm going to feel grateful for that. But then all this other shit starts coming up. Like, I can't make a ton of money. Like, who am I to make a ton of money? Like, I can't do that. Like, that's bad. People who have a lot of money are evil. And so we go back and forth between working on one and then working on the other. But if you can say, I really want to go do this thing, and I feel this way about it, and hold the negative, quote unquote negative, as actually a valid experience, then you can move forward with what you want to do without having to do this flip-flop back and forth thing. You can actually hold both at the exact same time. And so all that means really is holding both as valid. Just because they oppose each other doesn't necessarily mean that they invalidate each other. And I think that's incredibly important to remember. So when you're focusing on something positive, and the negative elements, which naturally come up, when they do show up, all you really have to do is say, okay, yeah, that's a valid experience. It's a valid idea. It's valid simply by the means alone of the fact that it exists. It needs to do nothing more than exist for it to be valid. And by you validating it, you actually give it enough space to kind of melt and become one with the vision. And next thing you know, the discomfort's kind of gone and you're able to move forward. And at the very least, you don't have to take time out to deal with the negative so that you can move forward. You actually learn how to move forward with these two things at the exact same time. An example that I'm fond of giving is, like you hang out with a child, right? And this child's throwing an absolute tantrum, and you have to be somewhere. You can't just, I guess you can, but optimally, I don't think you really want to scold this child or throw it into a corner, or take a ton of time out to make sure that this kid's happy before you get to where you want to go, because you need to be there at a certain time. So instead, what you can do is you can say, hey, child, I understand that you're upset right now. And you're allowed to be upset. You can continue to be upset. And we're still going to go do this thing. That's what you can do with this inner part of yourself. You can say, wow, I really validate your experience. You're upset for whatever reason. That's totally okay. That's fine. However, we are going to continue on this path that I've created for us, for myself. So first off, I hope that made sense. If it didn't, please feel free to reach out, and I'd be more than happy to give you some clarity, because I think this is a really important thing to develop, and it's kind of a superpower. So it's going to take a little bit of time to really nail it down and get really good at it. And again, as always, if this strikes a chord with you, this is something that you want to do more work on, please, please, please reach out, and I will talk to you for free. Like, I don't know if I've made it clear in my past videos that if you want to reach out and talk to me, I'm not going to charge you. If we decide that we want to have like ongoing stuff, that's cool. But initial support and just helping you figure out what's going on in your life, that's all free. So yeah, again, I hope this made sense. I hope this was helpful. And give me your feedback. I want to know if you're watching this. If you are, I want to know if it's helping, and if it's making an impact on you, if there's any way I can improve. Again, thank you for tuning in. If you are here, I appreciate your support so much, and it's an honor for me to get to share these things with you. I think that's about it. Be well, and I'll see you next week.